Hey everyone, it's Jacob here back in this another video. So for today's video, I'm going to just be talking about a show that very much has a special place in my heart. I'm going to give my opinions about the show, and as you can see, the show that I'm going to be talking about in this video is Glee. So Glee is my favorite show of all time. I first watched Glee, I want to say, in 2022, I want to say, during, Christmas time in 2022. And, yeah, I basically decided to watch the first episode of Glee because I knew my brother, really liked Glee. I knew my brother, watched Glee and stuff, and so I decided to try it out. I watched the first episode with him one time, and I just immediately got hooked, and I binge-watched the whole show with him, with my brother. And, yeah, so I'm basically just going to go through it. This is, the page for the show on YouTube. I'm just going to go through all the seasons. And I'm not going to talk about, every single episode, because we'd probably be here all day if I said stuff about, every single episode. I'm just going to talk about, some highlights throughout each of the seasons. And, of course, give my opinions and stuff. And so, yeah. So, yeah, let's get started. And, of course, I probably have some opinions that you may or may not agree or disagree with. And, yeah. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. So, of course, first we're starting with season 1. And season 1 is, of course, a very good season. And, of course, starting with the amazing pilot episode. Classic episode right there. And then Shawn Mance had the Gold Digger song. I quite like that song. Of course, Will's rapping, and that song kind of cringy, but yeah, not a big deal. Anyways, and then yeah, and then we just have the kids prepping for sectionals and stuff. Wheels is another episode that I quite like. That episode is of course about Artie's struggles in his wheelchair, and all the Glee Club members basically rally with him, and all the Glee Club members start using wheelchairs in support of Artie and stuff like that. Of course, it has the whole rolling down the river song at the end of the episode, which is a pretty good song. And then ballads, I quite like this episode as well. This is the episode when Rachel gets a crush on Will, and I quite liked the song that Will sung to Rachel, to try and get her to understand that her crush on him was kind of inappropriate. Was the "Don't Stand So Close to Me" slash young girl. So yeah, pretty good episode. I quite like that episode. And then episode 12. This episode is when Will finds out that his wife, now ex-wife Terry, was lying to him about being pregnant. He found out that she wasn't pregnant the whole time, and I remember I was really mad at Terry for lying to Will when I first watched the first season of Glee. And so when Will finally found out that Terry wasn't pregnant and that she was lying the whole time, I was like, yes, finally. And yeah, I thought it was just really satisfying scene. Sorry if you hear noise in the background, it's my dog. But yeah, anyways, you know what? Just so she doesn't make any noise, I might just go let her up here real quick. Just be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. You can actually see my dog right here. I guess I have a special guest for this video today. This is my dog Milo. Yeah, anyways, just ignore her. She'll probably go away in just a second here, but she'll probably go sit on the couch in a second here. But yeah, anyways, back to the video. So yeah, we just talked about the episode 12 mattress where Will found out that Terry was on to be pregnant and stuff. And, my dog just walked away, thankfully. Anyways, then the very next episode, we had Sectionals, episode 13, of course, which was a pretty big episode, pretty great episode, where it was Glee Club's first proper performance. The Glee Club was called New Directions, by the way, which I'm sure everyone knows. But yeah, Sectionals was a pretty great episode. Of course, this episode had Don't Rain on My Parade, which is one of my favorite songs from Glee. And of course, this is the episode where Finn found out that Quinn's baby wasn't actually his. It wasn't his baby, it's actually Puck's baby. So yeah, that was a pretty big thing as well. So it's basically 2 episodes back to back where characters found out big things. Of course, in episode 12 it was Will finding out that Terry wasn't pregnant, that she was lying, and in episode 13 it was Finn finding out that Quinn's baby wasn't actually his baby, it was Puck's baby, obviously. So yeah. And then after Sectionals, of course, the whole rest of the season, basically the new direction of the Glee Club, like prepping for regionals and stuff. Episode 19, Dream On. I quite like this episode. This was the episode where Neil Patrick Harris guest starred as his character was named Brian Ryan. Or was it Ryan Brian? I think it was Brian Ryan. Yeah, anyways, but yeah, I quite liked Neil Patrick Harris's guest appearance in this episode. That was pretty good. Yeah, and then we get to regionals, episode 22 of season 1, the season 1 finale episode, Journey. Yeah, season 1 finale was a great episode. Of course, it had the Bohemian Rhapsody performance, and while the Glee Club was performing, that's not what I was going to say, and while the Glee Club was, like, performing Bohemian Rhapsody, Quinn was having her baby, she went, like, labor and stuff. So that was a pretty big moment. And of course, she, like, gave her baby away and stuff, like, she can't keep her baby. Yeah, anyways, then we get into season 2. Now, season 2 I have quite a bit more to say about, because season 2 is actually my favorite season. Season 2 is probably my most rewatched season, or not like the whole season from like front to back, if you will, but season 2 has like some of my most like rewatched episodes. Yeah, I just really like season 2. I think season 2 is the best season of the whole show. So we start oh, sorry about my dog barking in the background, but yeah, as I was saying, we're starting out with a bang with the season 2 premiere episode, Audition. I quite like this episode. It's like one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. It's one of the episodes I rewatched the most. Of course, this episode introduces Sam, and then also Sunshine, but she's only in the show for like 3 episodes in season 2. But the season 2 premiere episode, Audition, had a lot of really good like songs in it, like Billionaire, Telephone, Empire State of Mind. Yeah, I just love like really good songs, and I saw really good moments in Audition, and yes, it's one of my favorite episodes of the show. So yeah, I just quite like that episode. And then let's see here, episode 4, Duets, was a pretty good episode as well. A lot of good songs in that episode. I quite liked the song that Rachel and Kurt sang at the end of the episode, the Happy Days Are Here Again / Get Happy. I thought that was a pretty good song. So yeah, and then I know the Rocky Horror Glee Show is it's kind of a controversial episode. This episode right here, episode 5, the Rocky Horror Glee Show. And it's kind of like a controversial episode. A lot of people have like divided opinions on it. Some people really hate this episode, and some people like it. I'm in the camp of like kind of in between. I don't hate the Rocky Horror Glee Show episode. I don't like love it either. It's kind of like alright. I didn't quite like the Time Warp song, like at the end of the episode. I guess the ends of the episodes had the best songs. But yeah, I quite like the Time Warp song at the end of the episode. It's probably my favorite part of the episode. But overall, I thought it was kind of an episode. The part where they saying touch it, touch me, that was a pretty weird part. But yeah. And then Furt, that was a pretty big episode. That was when Finn's dad and Kurt's mom got married and stuff. That was a pretty good episode. And then we have our first Christmas episode of the show, episode 10 of season 2, A Very Glee Christmas. It's a pretty good Christmas episode. I've heard that a lot of people have said that a lot of people think that the Christmas episodes of Glee are some of the worst episodes of the show. I mean, for maybe like 1 or 2 of the Christmas episodes, I kind of agree with that, but I think some of the Christmas episodes are pretty good. Like, I think the season 2 Christmas episode is pretty good. Like, I thought it was funny when Sue, like, dressed up as the Grinch. Yeah, it's quite like that. And then episode 11, the Sue Sylvester Shuffle, I thought this was another pretty good episode. This episode had one of my favorite songs from the whole show, the Bills, Bills, Bills song that the Warblers sang. That was in episode 11 of season 2 right here. Of course, that's, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Da, da. Yeah, I don't want to sing the whole song because of copyright, but yeah, you should know what song it is. And episode 13, Comeback, I quite liked that episode as well. That was the episode where Sue, like, kind of joined the Glee Club. She, like, sat in, like, a couple of the Glee Club's performances and stuff like that. And then Sue actually, like, performed with the Glee Club at the end of the episode, and they sang probably my favorite song from the whole show, which was Sing. Sing it out, what tomorrow brings. Yeah, again, I don't want to sing like the whole songs because, copyright. But, I quite like that episode as well. And then the very next episode, of course, the whole episode about alcohol, blaming on the alcohol, that has some pretty good songs in it. That has some pretty funny moments in it and stuff. Quite like that episode. Born This Way is a pretty good episode as well. That's basically the episode where the Glee Club points out like flaws about themselves, and they wear like shirts that say their flaws about them while they perform like Born This Way. That's a pretty good episode as well. funeral was a pretty emotional episode. That was, of course, the episode when Sue's sister died. And yeah, it's probably one of the most emotional episodes of the show. And then we have the season 2 finale episode, another one of the best episodes of the show, in my opinion, the episode in New York, where the New Directions go to New York City for nationals. I've always wanted to go to New York City. I was born in Johnson City, New York, but I've never been to New York City before, but I've always wanted to go. Hopefully I will be able to go at some point, hopefully soon, but anyways, commenting on her about New York City, but yeah, season 2 finale episode in New York was indeed a very good episode. I quite liked that episode, and yeah, that was all season 2. Actually, one thing I was gonna say, like at the end of when I was talking about season 1, at the end of season 1, I was gonna say a little fun fact about Glee. I think season 1 was the only season of Glee that where like New York wasn't seen or like mentioned or anything like that. I mean, maybe New York was like mentioned like a couple of quick times in season 1. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but like of course there's a whole episode set in New York City. The last episode in season 2, like the last episode of season 2, and then New York was mentioned like all throughout season 3 because a big plot line or like storyline, whatever you want to call it, in season 3 was like Rachel and Kurt like trying to get into NYADA, the like New York Performing Arts School. So New York was mentioned quite a bit throughout season 3, and then I think New York was seen like briefly at the very end of the last episode of season 3 when Rachel gets to New York, when Finn like lets her go, like lets her be free. She gets on the train, then she arrives in New York City at the very end, so we get to see New York like briefly at the very end of season 3, at the very end of the last episode of season 3, and then now of course New York is like a big part of seasons 4 and 5. Like this, like basically like part of the main storyline takes place in New York in seasons 4 and 5, and then season 6 doesn't really show New York very much. I think there might be like 1 or 2 little scenes set in New York in season 6, but yeah. But yeah, anyways, I just want to explain that I think season 1 is pretty much the only season of Glee that doesn't like mention New York or like show New York or whatever. Like I said, there might have been maybe like a couple of quick times that they might briefly mention New York in season 1, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But anyways, that was just a little fun fact that I want to share there. But anyways, then we get to season 3. I don't really have as much to say about season 3 because season 3 is a little bit of a step down from season 2 in my opinion. But we start with the Purple Piano Project episode. On this episode, we get introduced to Sugar Mata in this episode, who's of course the girl who had a pretty bad singing voice. Then she eventually joined the Glee Club anyway, even though she had a bad singing voice, obviously. But I honestly, that's not words here. I was gonna say I honestly thought that Sugar was adorable, to be honest. Yeah. And then of course we get to like learn more about Mike in this episode 3, season 3, Asian F. There's a lot of stuff with Mike in this episode, which is pretty cool. I feel like we didn't really get to see enough of Mike in Glee. He didn't really have a whole lot of like moments and stuff on that show. But yeah, anyways, that's enough about Mike, I guess. But and then in episode 4, Pot of Gold, we get introduced to Rory, the new like Irish exchange student. He's a pretty cool character. But I was like, yeah, he's alright. I never really cared too terribly much for Rory, but he was cool. And then we just have some more like antics out of school and stuff. And then Sam actually wasn't in like the first 7 episodes of season 3 because he left McKinley for a little while. But then when he came back in episode 8, Sam returned in episode 8 of season 3. Hold on to 16. So yeah. And then we have the next Christmas episode, season 3 Christmas episode, Extraordinary Merry Christmas. This Christmas episode was like alright. I've the like black and white part of the episode where the New Directions are on that like black and white show or whatever it was, or like it's like some sort of special or something. In that part of the episode I was like, yeah, like I was like, at least for a part of the episode. I do quite like the ending of the episode where the New Directions were at the like children's charity place thing, whatever it was, and they sung the Do They Know It's Christmas song. And that was probably the only part of the episode that I really liked. But other than that, I was like, yeah, this is an alright episode. But yeah, and then we have episode 10, season 3, Yes No. That was a pretty like big episode. That was the episode where Will like proposed to Emma, and then they got engaged and stuff. That was a pretty good episode. And then let's see. Yeah, I just don't really have too much to say about season 3. Because like I said, So like I said, I think season 3 takes a little bit of a step down from season 2, not like a major step down, but just like a tiny bit of a step down from season 2 in my opinion. There is still some good moments in season 3 and stuff, but overall I think season 2 is, like season 1 and 2 actually are quite a bit better than season 3. But there is still some good moments in season 3. There's the whole prom episode, Promosaurus, that was a pretty good episode. And then Props, episode 20, season 3, this is the episode where like Tina falls into the water fountain and she has like a whole dream about like the characters like switching places, like acting as each other. It's pretty funny, a pretty iconic episode, if you will. And then the last two episodes of season 3 are probably the best episodes of the season. Nationals, where the Directions performed in Nationals, and they finally like won Nationals after like coming in 12th place in Nationals back in the end of season 2, because like Rachel and Finn kissed during the Nationals performance, and that got them like basically like disqualified, and they ended up in 12th place and stuff. But they finally won and got in first place in Nationals in season 3. Now, of course, yeah, another one of the most emotional episodes of the show, Goodbye. The last episode of season 3 was the episode where a lot of the original New Directions members like graduated and stuff, like Rachel, Kurt, Finn, Mercedes, Quinn, Puck, and then that might have been it actually, but a big chunk of the New Directions members, if you will, like graduated at the end of season 3, but some of the original New Directions members are still there in like seasons 4 and 5. They were still in the school and stuff. Yeah, and graduated. Yeah, like Ari, Sam, Blaine, Tina. Yeah. It's kind of weird though, because I think when Blaine was first introduced in season 2, he was supposed to be like older than Kurt. But then like later down the line in the show, they kind of like changed that to like Blaine, or they kind of like changed that to like Kurt being older than Blaine and Kurt graduating first, even though Blaine was originally supposed to be like older and like in a higher grade than Kurt when he was first introduced. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Anyways, that was a bit of a retcon thing, if you will, I guess. But yeah. Anyways, that was season 3. Then we get into season 4, and of course, it's the first season where there's kind of like 2 storylines in every episode, or in a majority of the episodes anyway, because there's like the Glee Club storyline in Lima, Ohio. And then there's like the New York storyline with the New Directions members that graduated. Man, there was just like Rachel and Kurt, and like their adventures in New York and stuff. And then Santana joins Rachel and Kurt a little bit down the line. Like she moves into to Rachel and Kurt's apartment with them and stuff. But yeah, I also Santana was one of the ones that graduated as well. I forgot about her when I was trying to think about the New Directions members that graduated. And actually, Brittany was supposed to graduate with the people that graduated at the end of season 3, but then she got held back and she didn't graduate until like the end of season 4. So yeah. Anyways, of course, at the very beginning, that's not what we're just going to see. Of course, at the very beginning of season 4, this is where we were introduced to quite a few New Directions members, like Marley, Jake, Kitty, Ryder, Unique. Actually, Unique was introduced in season 3, but then Unique officially joined the New Directions in season 4. But yeah, I know a lot of people don't really like the season 4 and 5 newbies, if you will, because a lot of people say that they're pretty much like exact copies of the original New Directions members, but to be honest, I don't really see it. I think there's like similarities between the season 4 and 5 newbies and like the original New Directions members in the first 2 seasons, but I don't think they're like exact copies. I think they have like differences to them and stuff, you know. So I kind of disagree with everyone on that. And I actually like the season 4 and 5 newbies better than the season 6 newbies, to be honest. That was an unpopular opinion, I think, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, and then of course there's a big breakup episode where Kurt and Blaine broke up and Finn and Rachel broke up. A lot of people thought that there was a pretty big mistake in this episode where Blaine said to Kurt, "I knew you there and you weren't there." But in the very first episode, Blaine like literally told Kurt to go to New York. And for a while I agreed with everybody who said that, but more recently I've kind of realized that I think Blaine was meaning more like emotionally, like he needed Kurt there like emotionally, because Kurt wasn't answering like Blaine's calls or anything. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Blaine meant. Now that I've like thought about it more and stuff. And also, fun fact: this season 4, was actually the only season of the show where Rachel was absent in a few episodes, because there's like 3 episodes in season 4 that Rachel wasn't in, because there's like no like New York storylines in like 3 episodes of season 4. So yeah, I think it was like episodes 5, 7, and then like 18, I want to say. But yeah, those are the only episodes in the whole. Those are like the only episodes in the whole show where Rachel's like absent. But yeah, anyways, then we have the next Christmas episode, episode 10 of season 4 Glee. Actually, this is a pretty interesting Christmas episode. This had the whole storyline with like Sam and Brittany thinking that the world was gonna end in 2012 because of the whole Mayans thing. But actually, for those who don't know, that was only like the Mayan calendar was ending in 2012. That's what the whole like that's what that whole thing meant. That wasn't meaning that the end of the world was gonna be in 2012. The Mayan calendar was just like ending in 2012. Anyway, that's not about that. Um, but yeah, Say Hawkins Dance episode was a pretty good episode as well. I do. This was Will and Emma's wedding episode. It's a pretty big episode, even though they don't actually get married in this episode because Emma ran away. But then they end up actually getting married in at the end of season 4. So yeah, Emma basically like chickened out and ran away from the wedding in that episode. But then they fortunately end up getting married at the end of season 4. So yeah. Feud. That's the episode where Finn and Will kind of got into a big fight because Finn accidentally kissed Emma because Emma was kind of freaking out about the wedding. She had like anxiety and stuff, and then it was kind of like in the heat of the moment, Finn ended up kissing Emma, and yeah, and then Will got pretty mad at Finn. I think Will should have just like made up with Finn and stuff, like make him like leave the school and stuff. It's like I thought that was pretty stupid. Like Will should have been the more mature one and not been like, I can't forgive you, Finn, I'm sorry. Like, I thought that was just a stupid thing. Like, Will should have been more mature than that in that situation, I think. But yeah, anyways. And then, of course, we had probably one of the best episodes of the show right here, Shooting Star. The whole school shooting episode. This is a very intense and emotional episode. I quite like this episode. And yeah. Then Finn returns in this episode 19, Sweet Dreams. You see that he's been going to college with Puck ever since he left the school and stuff. But then Will and Finn made up in this episode, and Finn basically came back to school and stuff. But then Finn wasn't in the rest of the episodes in season 4. Finn was, I think they filmed some stuff with Corey Monteith at the end of season 4 after episode 19, but then they cut all that stuff out after Corey Monteith like died and stuff. So yeah. You can see here in the description of episode 20 Lights Out, it says Will and Finn unless the members of New Directions. So that's like a little hint that Finn was supposed to be in those last few episodes. But yeah, Lights Out is a pretty good episode as well. That's the episode where Ryder tells everybody in the New Directions that he was like sexually assaulted. I don't want to say the actual like word for it because that's kind of inappropriate. But yeah, and then Sam and Artie pretty much like they were all like, you should be happy about that, and that's and like a bunch of shows and movies, blah blah blah. And Sam and Artie were just like really stupid in that scene. But yeah, and then then later in the episode, Kitty revealed to Ryder that she was actually assaulting when she was younger too, and so they kind of bonded over that. I think Kitty and Ryder would have made a pretty good couple if not for the whole like Katie catfish thing. Yeah, speaking of that, the very end of season 4 revealed that Unique was one that was kind of like catfishing Ryder as Katie. And then he got pretty mad at her. He was like, I'm not going to talk to you ever again. But I think he does end up talking to her in season 5, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much season 4. And then we go to season 5. Season 5 is arguably the worst episode of the show because this was after Corey Monteith died. They had to like change some stuff around about the show. And there ended up being some pretty stupid stuff in the show in season 5 because of that. I wonder what the rest of the show would have been like if Corey Monteith had never died. That's kind of an interesting thing to think about. Yeah. Anyways, well, of course we kind of like started at the beginning of season 5 with the very emotional episode 3, season 5, The Quarterback. This is like the most emotional episode of the show, probably like the saddest episode of any show, like ever. Because this wasn't even like the actors like acting. Each scene was basically just like the like actors like just like being themselves and like being emotional over Corey Monteith basically. Yeah. And then they basically changed like Jake's character in season 5. He was kind of like he was like really nice to Marley stuff like that in season 4, but then in season 5 he ended up cheating and like his whole character was changed, and then Marley and Jake ended up breaking up in episode 5 of season 5. And episode 4 probably had probably one of the most like stupid moments in the show where Will like suspended Marley from the Glee Club for like not like dressing like in like revealing clothes. I wasn't sure how to put it, but yeah. Will did some pretty stupid stuff. Yeah. Then we have the next Christmas episode. I believe this was the last Christmas episode of the show because it wasn't a Christmas episode in season 6 or season 1. But yeah, anyways, but we have previously honored Christmas, season 5, episode 8. This episode is basically supposed to be like a Christmas special that originally didn't air on the Fox. That was like in the Glee universe. It was supposed to be like an episode that like didn't air like in the last season. It was supposed to be aired, like, quote unquote. I don't know. Anyways, it was a pretty good Christmas episode. It had some funny parts and stuff. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it, but yeah. Anyways, and then of course we have the Nationals performance in the episode City of Angels. That's a pretty good episode. They sing a song and Nationals performance that like honors them. It's pretty cool. And then we have, of course, the whole like 100th episode celebration with the episodes of 100 and New Directions. Yeah, these both are pretty special episodes where all the past and present New Direction members like came together and stuff like that. Was pretty good. So yeah, that was that. And of course, after that, so we got the Glee Club shut down, and then the whole rest of season 5, the last 7 episodes of season 5, episodes 14 through 20, were all like set entirely in New York after the Glee Club got shut down by Sue. And I honestly thought that I don't know if other people felt the same way, but I honestly thought that it felt kind of like a breath of fresh air to like have like the show be set like entirely in New York for a little while. Like I thought it felt nice to have like a little break from like the whole like Glee Club thing. I thought it was pretty nice to like have the show just be set like entirely in New York for a little while for the rest of season 5. But yeah, there's pretty good storylines and just like little New York era of the show, I guess, if you will. So yeah, there's like no scenes like in the school in like episodes 14 to 20. Like I said, it was like entirely New York. There was like one little short brief scene like on like the beginning of episode 17 opening night because we see Sue and Will in the school just like briefly talking about like going to New York to see Rachel and her like Broadway debut in Funny Girl, but then that's basically it. So you know, there was one really stupid thing that happened in this particular part of the show where like Rachel, basically right after her Funny Girl Broadway debut, she like gives up her role on Broadway to like audition for a show that like of course like audition for a TV show that like of course ultimately fails. So that's a pretty stupid decision from Rachel, in my opinion. But you know, in my opinion, the Rachel I know from like the first 3 seasons of the show would like never give up her Broadway role like so fast like that to being like a TV show. Like Rachel really never like strike me as like someone who'd want me a TV show. She's obviously a Broadway girl. You know, to teach his or her own. Anyways, but yeah. Now, of course, get to the last season, season 6, which season 6 is basically all about like Rachel and Kurt reviving the Glee Club. And yeah, I did notice the picture that they put for the first episode of season 6, Loser Like Me up here. It doesn't even really look like Glee, the picture that they used for the first episode of season 6 there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they might have used the wrong picture there because the picture that they used for that first episode of season 6 just looks kind of weird, and that they might have used the wrong picture. I don't think that picture is even like from Glee. Anyways, episode 2, Homecoming, has one of my favorite breaking character moments of the whole show because, like Sam was all like, Quinn had sex with a teen lesbian, and that was basically an unscripted line. And so Diana Agron, the actress that played Quinn, she wasn't expecting that. And so when Sam and Quinn like walked away, Diana Agron like broke character and laughed as Sam and Quinn walked away. So yeah, it's one of my favorite breaking character moments. I love that moment. So yeah, and of course Blaine and Karofsky date in this season for a little while, which is kind of weird. The pre-marriage relationship, wasn't like a huge fan of that. But yeah, and then we have the double wedding episode, probably one of the biggest episodes of the show. So if you hear like a dinging noise in the background, so my mom downstairs watching The Price is Right. I'm gonna go watch it with her when I'm done this video. But yeah, anyways, as I was saying, then we of course had the whole like double wedding episode with like Santana and Brittany's wedding and Kurt and Blaine's wedding. They both had the weddings at the same time, both within the same wedding basically. That was a pretty good episode, a beautiful episode, if you will. That's a pretty funny face that Rachel's making in that picture there. She's like, anyways, but yeah, and then we see the New Directions performance at Sectionals in episode 11, and then we go back to 2009 and the penultimate episode of the show, the second to last episode, if you will, episode 12 of season 6. We go back to 2009 and see why the original New Directions members like decided to join New Directions back in the very first episode of season 1. we kind of just get like to find out why those original New Directions members decided to join New Directions. And then the very last episode, Dreams Come True, episode 13, we kind of like go all the way forward to the results of nationals and the New Directions won nationals again, stuff like that. And after that, there is a time jump of 5 years. Like we go forward 5 years and find out what all the characters are like up to and stuff. And yeah, that series finale episode is a pretty beautiful episode. Of course, they performed the whole like I Lived episode at the end of the show. Basically, all the characters from all the past seasons and stuff like all came together to perform that very last song of the show. Most of the characters anyway came back. There was like 2 big characters that weren't able to come back. Like there's a couple like actors weren't able to come back. Unfortunately, those were Melissa Benoist, who played Marley, and then Rory's actor. I can't remember his actor's name. Oh, Damien McGinty. That was Rory's actor's name. But yeah, Marley and Rory both were like the 2 big characters that didn't come back in the last episode. But pretty much everybody else did come back for that one last performance at the end of the last episode. But yeah, it's a beautiful series finale episode in my opinion, and yeah, that was basically it. And that's the end of the show. Yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, that was me talking about Glee. Of course, if you enjoy this video, of course, please like, comment, and subscribe, and of course, ring the bell so you know if I never post any new videos. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, of course. And yeah, I don't want to have to say, so of course, you enjoy this video, and I'll of course see you next time. Peace.